am still in shock after watching Keegan Murray's performance against the Utah Jazz. I mean, I'd say that me and Steph Curry have the same reaction right now.
Keegan Murray started 12 of 13 from 3. You've hit there.
But if you ask any Kings fan, or if you are a Kings fan yourself, you would know that we kind of expected this to happen at some point. Okay, maybe we didn't expect him to put up 45 points and shoot 12 for 13 from 3 in just 3 quarters alone, almost breaking Klay Thompson's record for most threes made in a single game. But we did kind of expect for him to have a 40-point game or some sort of breakout moment at least some point soon, because we always knew that Keegan was a dog on offense. I mean, in his rookie year, Mike Brown mainly used him as just a 3-point threat, especially in moments throughout the season where players like Kevin Huerter were struggling with their threes, and Kevin Huerter did have a couple slumps last year, and Keegan was huge in that. Even when Kevin Huerter was shooting good, Keegan shot almost 40% from 3 on about 6 attempts, I think, per game. It was seriously a really good rookie year for Keegan, and I always felt like last year he deserved a lot more credit than what he actually got, with that mainly being because he was a rookie that got a starting position almost instantly on a contending team. Like, the Kings went from being outside the play-ins before he arrived to them then going on to be the 3rd seed with him in the starting lineup, and it's just super impressive to see how much he has already done for this team and how much of an effect he has, because it's not just the fact that he was a starting player for a team that was 3rd in the Western Conference last year. It was also moments like being in the playoffs against the reigning champs, where he went on to score 23 points having Klay Thompson guarding him. I mean, as a rookie, you have to understand just how impressive that is, and I understand that later on in that series he did have some struggling games, but he's a rookie, right? You don't really look at the downs for a rookie because you know, all right, you know, they're bound to have those moments. It's the ups that you look at, because that 23-point game for Keegan was him barely scratching the surface. And I'll tell you right now, I am not the only person that thinks that, because Klay Thompson even went on to Paul George's podcast talking about how good Keegan Murray is offensively and how good he will be in the future.
I'm gonna go Keegan Murray.
Yeah, he can shoot.
He's elite at the 3-point.
He is.
Like,
nah, he's gonna be a good player.
but he's got a cannon.
Yeah, he was great in the playoffs too. For a rookie, that's a lot to make that impact. I don't feel comfortable leaving Murray open
At all.
Yeah, it's going in. You know,
even if he's semi, like, he's still cashing it.
But if you look at this season so far, you might look at Keegan Murray offensively and see that he hasn't really jumped off the page, or at least how you would expect a player who averaged 14 points last year. Part of this is because he is going through a little slump, which is all right, who really cares? But it's also because he's finally actually able to play his game. Like I said previously, in his rookie year, he was solely known as a 3-point shooter, but this year he has gotten more freedom and more ability from Mike Brown to be able to really play his game, drive into paint, take mid-range shots, fadeaway jumpers, all this crazy shit that I will not lie, me myself, I saw coming into this season. Now, I know I sound like LeBron when saying that, but if you go back and look at Keegan Murray's performance during the Summer League, you could see that he wasn't just settling for threes. I mean, I think it was the Summer League game where he dropped like 40-something points. He wasn't the Keegan Murray that we saw in the regular season before. He was driving in, he was being physical, he was attacking, and we're seeing that from him this year, which is scary to think that he is just now starting to be himself on offense and is already having games like this, or just really good games where he is not just shooting threes. It means that if he's doing this in his 2nd year, give him 5 years, I mean, we might be talking about all NBA talent, maybe, dare I say, MVP. Okay, MVP might be a little bit extreme considering I am a Kings fan. Okay, that's a little bit biased, but whatever. But it's not only his change in his offense that is causing a little bit of a hiccup in his consistency, it's also the fact that he has taken a ton, and I mean a ton, of priority on the defensive end of the ball. Now, as much as I'd love to show you guys the 11-minute highlight reel of Keegan Murray defensive plays, sadly YouTube will demonetize this video and I can't get anything off of it. So instead, I'll actually give you guys the direct source of this video at Sac Film Room down below. I have the tweet in the description if you want to go check that out after the video. Okay, finish the video first, which is really important considering the Kings were not the best defensive team last year or this year in general, but their offense has always been there. And Mike Brown being one of the guys that really prioritizes the defensive end of the ball. So it's just really exciting to see that he is able to make this much of a jump in his game. Not to mention, there was a ton of talks about the Kings trying to go for OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam, which brings me to the next funny thing about this entire situation. Just earlier today or yesterday, depending on whenever you're watching this, I don't even know, there were conversations coming from the Toronto Raptors saying that if the Sacramento Kings wanted OG Anunoby or Pascal Siakam, they had to give up Keegan Murray and actually multiple first-round picks. And surprisingly, the Kings actually shut down these trade rumors like later that day, pretty much saying that he is a huge part of the Kings' future and they see him being there for a long time and they don't value this trade to be worth it at all. And I 100% agree with that. And I did see people on my timeline talking about, oh, well, they said that Tyrese Halliburton was untradeable and look what they did to him. The entire situation is so different. I just hate reading that shit on my timeline because it was hard having 2 star point guards and clearly needing to get rid of one rather than having a Keegan Murray with no other Keegan Murray behind him. You know what I mean? The Kings are a team, though, where if you were to look at the standings and not really watch their games, you wouldn't think that they are a scary squad or that they don't really look like contenders because they're not top 3 in the West anymore, whatever you want to think. But the truth is that they just started off this season really rough. They started off with De'Aaron Fox getting injured, a couple just overall really bad games. Like, I will admit that the Pelicans have been kicking their ass all season. It's also funny I talk about De'Aaron being injured when he was actually out for this game too. So yeah, I do think that this Kings team will end up being one of the teams that continue to grow and grow throughout the season and not really drop down or stay stagnant in the middle. And my prediction is that I see them being a top 3 team in the Western Conference when the season is all said and done. Also, fun little thing as well, if you were watching this game live, this Keegan Murray masterclass, you may have actually seen that the broadcast put my tweet up on the screen, which is really cool to see. But I have also noticed that you watching this right now just saw my Twitter up on the screen and didn't go follow me. Real cool, man. Real cool. With that being said, comment down below your take on Keegan Murray after this game. I want to hear every single thing you have to say, whether it's positive or negative. I read and respond to everyone down there. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I love my Sacramento Kings. Like the beam. Good game of the Utah Jazz, but we'll see you guys again later in the next one. Later.
You've hit
what?